Welcome back to Reptastic Adventures, and today it is scorching hot. It is like 95 degrees right now, almost. It feels like that at least, but it's going to get to 100, and this is the third day in a row. And because of that, there's certain precautions that you have to take when you have as many animals as I do. Now, if you look at all these pens are filled with tortoises. There is some shade, but there's not really quite enough. So I have logs in here for these guys to go under. These greenhouses even, all right? These glass doors are a little bit higher up than normal just so we can get some more airflow through there. It still will get hot in there, but it's kind of a little shady. And the fact that they can get under here and escape the direct sun is important. As you can see, I've already fed these guys. Now it's only like 8:15 in the morning, and it's important you feed them early, because if you don't, they're actually going to burrow, they're going to hide, and then you'll just be wasting food. So I just want to show you and take you around and just kind of go through some of the steps that we take to make sure that these animals are safe in this extreme weather. So one thing that I really suggest you do is in the morning is that you feed as soon as it's daylight, because that's when these tortoises are active. And also make sure you water the plants. You want to water the plants to make sure that they're healthy and they're strong. The limbs aren't hanging down, sagging, because they again provide shade. And also, if you have a lot of the plants that are in here are edible. They all are edible for these tortoises. So they also can provide a snack later in the day. So, but the more vegetation and the more these enclosures mature over time, the thicker the plants get, and the more comfortable the tortoises will be in situations like this. So we got golden Greek tortoises here. These are Syrians. These are from, I believe, Jordanian. These are more golden. I got some more goldens over here. They're all going to town, you can see. But check this out. Look at all these hiding areas these guys have. Look, here's one right down in here. It's a nice little female golden Greek tortoise. So they are in the shade already. So it's starting to get hot. The sun is just coming up over the trees. Once it gets up over the tree right here, that's pretty much the end. These tortoises maybe will be another half hour and they're gone. They're hiding. They're underneath the rose bushes, the spirea, the fountain grasses. Now here we got this enclosure for the Rhino Iguana. The Rhino Iguana is kind of a different situation because I don't really have logs for them to go under, but he does go in the greenhouse. The greenhouse is still propped open, so there's some airflow. It still might get to be 100 degrees in there, but I put some plywood up here on the top. So once we get to midday, this whole side over here there's some more shade, and it kind of and the iguana can tell where it is, and it will just move itself over here to avoid being in the sun. So we got some containers here filled with water that we're going to replace. Make sure everything has clean water. All the water bowls have got to be fresh pretty much every day. We got anything that looks untouched, maybe we might let it go an extra day, but at least every day or every other day. Most of the time we got to do every day, depending on the action, how many turtles and tortoises are in those enclosures. Here are Libyan tortoises. I put this plywood here to kind of cover this corner and that corner, so they can kind of go in there in the dark and really escape the direct sunlight on these hot days. But hopefully we don't have too many days like this, because 100 degrees 3 days in a row is brutal. And tomorrow it's still going to be 95, I think. Going down to Friday, it's going to drop down. We got some rain coming in, so that's a good sign. Cools them down a little bit, but they love laying eggs in this weather in the mornings and at night. You will not see them active midday. They will not. You might not even see one. You'll be walking around. You got to be looking hard. They will go underneath the logs. They will get underneath the plants. They will burrow. Whatever they can do to escape the heat. One thing that really bothers me is I've heard stories over the years of people having turtles in buckets, and they put the bucket or a box or whatever on their front porch and not thinking that, well, in the afternoon the sun's going to come over the house and it's going to hit that turtle directly in the box or the bucket, and it's going to cook it. So animals, all reptiles, all tortoises, all turtles, they all need to have access to shade, even if the temperatures aren't extreme, okay? Just because sometimes they can be dehydrated and just like the littlest thing can just, turn the switch. So believe it or not, tomorrow I am gonna go and I am gonna buy, because this is the first heat wave and I'm thinking I need more plants. I'm gonna get probably about another 20 spirea right here and try and prevent or create maybe even some more, this is forsythia here, more shaded areas for these guys, and then I can just trim them as they grow if they get out of hand. So the more shade, the better options they have. But this is in the direct sunlight, guys, direct sunlight. So, you got to create the shade in that case. We have leopard tortoises over here. They kind of got this corner. You can see they're already in the corner. They know the sun, they know where it hits. Once we get to mid-late morning, they're already over here. They've already went to town on some food. The yellowfoots love this, okay? This heat, that doesn't faze them. They'll be active, but they'll be active also underneath the big fountain grass. They'll be moving around. It'll be 12, 1 o'clock. They don't care because they don't mind the heat. They just don't like the direct sunlight. They're actually a tortoise that comes from the Amazon, and they prefer rainforest, high humidity type atmosphere. And the turtles, you don't really have to worry too much about them with the extreme heat, although ammonia can build up. Now, obviously, the more ammonia and gases you have in any body of water, the less chance of them of staying healthy. You're going to have more risk in sickness, illness, respiratory problems. So when it's hotter, we try and do a little bit more on the water changes, a little bit more often. We have hoses that go in all the ponds, and all we do is turn valves and just turn them and let them run. So we'll let this pond run for an hour, this pond run for an hour, that pond, and then by the time you get to the end of the day, you got water changes pretty much on most of your pond. But here we got tortoises. These are eastern Herman's tortoises, and now it looks like one just laid right here. You can see the disturbance right here. You can see the disturbance. Like, see this right here? And I'm gonna point this out in some reels on Instagram. You can see there's like a ring here. And what it is it's a tortoise that's sitting right here. And I'm guessing it laid him earlier this morning before maybe even got out here, but I got out here at like 8 o'clock. So I had noticed that tortoises started laying on warm days like today at 6 in the morning. That's insane. So I'm sure there's nests that I've missed, but you can see the female will be sitting right here, and it'll use its rear legs to bring the dirt, reach as far as it can with those rear legs, bring the dirt, and it kind of leaves like a ring. And then they pack it down, and they bring all the dirt kind of towards that area over top of where the eggs are. So it's possible. I'm pretty sure one laid here. I'm going to dig down and just double check, see what we can find. Yep, here we go. So you gotta be real careful. It's very easy to break an egg if you're digging through a tougher, harder surface or soil. So there's one. That's a smaller egg. Usually they're a little bit bigger than this. So far, here's a second egg right there. That might only be it. It might have been a small clutch. It's a small hole. And yeah, that's it. I don't see any more. But because I don't have the egg laying bin with me, I'm just going to put them right back here. There's a worm. I'm just going to put them right back here and cover them lightly, and then just come grab them in a little bit where I can put them in the egg container and then put them in the incubator. So here's more Eastern Hermans. You can see we got water bowls in all of them. That one's dirty. That one's about to get changed. But we have water bowls in each of these. But look at how much shade. Again, these pens are more mature than the ones that are out in the center of the yard. They do get still a fair amount of sun. So it is important they still have the shade as well. We got some big logs. It's really good to have a connection or a friend that has maybe a tree service or tree company that maybe cut down some old trees and find some hollows for you. And then you can just go pick them up and you can cut them as you want with a chainsaw. My friend Mike Thomas, he has that connection, so he's helped me bring some really nice logs here, which is, I'm very thankful for having all these great places for these animals to hide. And some of these logs have been here for 4 or 5 years now. And you can see, look at this. Look at how this kind of overhangs. This provides a great amount of shade under here on these hot days. All right, this is like a zebra grass. We have ornamental grasses. We have spirea. There's rose of Sharon, knockout rose. A lot of different plants that you can buy that are edible. Just make sure you look it up, guys. You can look up online what food sources or what plants tortoises can consume and not have any problems. There are some poisonous plants out there you want to be careful of. And you know, the petals on a flower might fall and then they eat it, and next thing you know, they're dead. So, but walking over here, this is the eastern box turtle pen. There is pretty much no activity. I don't see one turtle right now. Oh wait, there's 2 over here in the shade, 3. Okay, but over here, look at it. This is a lot of space here. I see nothing. Okay, and that's because they're already burrowed down. On a daylight, in fact, they might even come out at night. They come out at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. They lay their eggs, the females, and then they pretty much go and burrow. They might have been out at 5:30, 6 this morning, wandered over to the water bowl or even the little pond I got here, which is in the shade, and grabbed some water. And then they're just gonna go right back into burrowing because they don't like the heat. Now, box turtles can be aquatic. This body of water here is shallow. There's a box turtle right there in the water. Smart move, dude. Smart move. 100 degrees, that's where I'd be too. So, and I got a hose down there. I just turn it on, let it run, and it floods out. And I do that, try and do it every day when we have these temperatures out here. But there's no log. I would probably think there's gonna be one under there. Yep, there's one right there. And there are a ton of box turtles here, guys. I hatch box turtles every year and I hold them back. A lot of times I send them to maybe a friend or family member, and I'll give them a couple babies. I'll just say, hey, raise these up, and then next year give them back. I'll give you 2 more. That way it's less on me. They're still my turtles. It's less on me to worry about, and then I bring them back, and then after about a year or 2, usually at least 2 years, they'll end up in here, and that way they can still thrive and get food and not have trouble being bullied by some of the bigger ones. So over here in the shade, there's a few more box turtles that are out, but they're not really that active. A couple of them over here, you can see how they're kind of burrowing up against the base of the plant. They're burrowing up against the base of the plant there. They're trying to really get out of that sun and they're preparing themselves pretty much for the next hour or 2. And we got the same situation over here. We have Florida box turtles. They're used to the heat, but still, they take the same precaution when you have 100 degrees. Now, usually when you get 100 degrees, at some point you have a thunderstorm in their area of, you know, Florida, which is where they're native to. So they might, you know, still be active a little bit more than the eastern box turtles. There's one right here, and this one is one I hatched years back. The mom is still in here roaming around. It's a little female. That's a male. And yeah, so I have peacocks too that have had babies. Some of you may have seen the reels, and I'll get more video content of those. They were laid in this pen. They were laid. The eggs were laid in the corner there, and the mom sat in them for well over a month. And they've been out here running around, and now they are wandering the property. They are definitely moving around. As long as the female stays with them, they're fine. The only thing I have to worry about with those is my dog. My dog likes to chase everything. She'll chase the squirrel. She'll chase everything. So yeah. So here's the wood turtle stream, which when you're dealing with the aquatics, it's not as much of a worry when it gets to these extreme temperatures. As long as obviously they got the body of water, and the more mature these pens are, the less you got to worry about. We got wood turtle right here coming out from this log. So if you guys have a lot of turtles, towards or reptiles, or anything animal-wise outside, just think ahead. Think ahead. Take precaution. Make sure your animals have plenty of water. Make sure they have plenty of shade. And if you ever need to set up a sprinkler, do that too. it can't hurt. Over here we got Maxima, my Rhino Iguana. Walk over this way. Watch Callie. Callie's over here having a conversation. Now, she's learning the whole head bob language that the iguana speaks. I still don't really understand it, but she's over here communicating with Maxima. What are you doing? Huh? Look, Maxima's happy. He stands up and he's like, can you give me a scratch? I can't reach, otherwise I'd give her a little head rub. She loves head rubs. When she first came out here, she got a little skittish, got a little nasty, but she's starting to, you know, get a little calmer at times. We got a male that was in here. Some of you seen the reels on Instagram. There was a reel I posted. A male was in here, and it's a little bit bigger than that. Crazy, it got out. No idea how. Can't figure it out. But it's inside for a little while until we can figure that out, or at least get it larger. Got to get it larger, and then this one's pretty chill, pretty docile. Doesn't really try to get out. The enclosure is pretty good size too. It's like 10 by 10, maybe 8 by 8. And you know, I don't really have any issues with her, but hopefully we can get the male back out here. We're trying to get him bigger, so just absolutely there's no way to get out. But I feel like he twists his head, and somehow it's mind-boggling. I'd really like to get it on video. So there you have it, guys. That's pretty much it here. Just wanted to do a quick video and show you guys how to prepare yourself for extreme temperatures. And again, greenhouses are great for most of the year, but you gotta make sure that you raise them up when the temperatures get too hot so the air can come through, because tortoises will go in there, all right? And if it gets real hot, they will cook. They will cook, they will sit there, they won't even come out. They're not really the brightest animals out there, but yeah, this is what I do. And so far, this is the 3rd day of the extreme heat, and we haven't had any problems. Trick is come out here real early, feed them, water everything, spray the plants down, and you know, you'll have some good success. So I just wanted to take the time to go through all this, and hopefully we'll get to see you guys again soon. We'll start doing some more videos. Now that the weather is great, summer's here, and there's lots of animals and activity. So, all right, see you guys later. Thanks for watching.